здесь?
Поставить за Азамова.
Азамова.
Да. Да. Следующий идет Алексис.
Doğru, doğru, doğru.
Ой, здравствуйте, здесь идет Азамов, следующий идет. Да, следующий, да. Потом идет Алексис. Сначала идет Алексис, подождите, Алексис. Спасибо большое. Да, извините, беспокою вас. Смотрите, мы сейчас слушали на панели. Сейчас, потому что сейчас у меня там ничего не
Very good.
Dear guests and participants of the second Tashkent International Investment Forum. My name is Elena Son, and I'm Executive Director of the American Uzbekistan Chamber of Commerce. We're a business group exclusively representing American companies, and I'm seeing Visa, Christina Dorsch, Vice President of the company here in the audience. We have been active in Uzbekistan since 1993. We are the oldest trade association representing major American brands in Uzbekistan. And we are delighted to be here today in a wonderful company of friends. So today we'll have a conversation about retail industry, about tourism, and how the two sectors complement each other. We have terrific panelists today. I think this is a Hollywood of the retail business, of the regulatory as well, environment, as well as the tourism. And so without further ado, I would like you to welcome our participants. Please join me in thanking them for their time to be with us on this stage. So, like I said, we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to ask a few questions to each of our speaker, and I will give them some time to respond. But before I do that, I would like to highlight the professional experience of each of our speakers. And I'll begin with Mr. Badruddin Abidov, who has been the first Deputy Minister of Investments, Industry and Trade of the Republic of Uzbekistan since February 2023. And Mr. Abidov has been a great friend of foreign investors, old or new. And Mr. Abidov's responsibilities include coordinating activities related to the implementation of state policy in the field of foreign trade in goods, as well as the application of measures of tariff and non-tariff regulation in foreign trade, including participation in coordinating the work of government bodies in the field of regulation of foreign economic activity, liberalization of foreign trade, which is extremely important for this particular sector, expansion of trade cooperation. Uzbekistan is a double landlocked country, so regional cooperation and global cooperation of Uzbekistan with international partners is of extreme value. But most importantly, I think, for all of us here in this audience is that Mr. Abidov is the chief negotiator for the accession of the Republic of Uzbekistan to the World Trade Organization. And President Mirziyoyev today highlighted the importance of this platform to Uzbekistan in connecting with the rest of the world and in connecting to international investors. And the main tasks are to ensure coordination of the development of the trade part of the Enhanced Partnership and Cooperation Agreement between the Republic of Uzbekistan and the European Union, assistance in the activities of Interdepartmental Commission, the negotiating group, as well as thematic working groups on the WTO issues, and the coordination of programs and projects of the international donor community implemented in Uzbekistan within the framework of the process of interaction of the Republic with the WTO. So, but at the same time, your duties include cooperation with the State Customs Committee, right, and the State Committee on Statistics, which is a statistical database on the import of goods and services in the context of goods, countries, contracts, types of calculation, and other data that facilitate a complete analysis of imports. What a guru of the foreign economic activities. I would like to move to our second friend, Mr. Ulugbek Azamov. And as someone who represents major American brands, I can tell you that Mr. Azamov is our direct point of contact. And any issues or any contacts or any questions that we have, we usually come directly to the Deputy Minister, and he directly responds and helps. And so thank you so much, first of all, Deputy Minister, for being so responsive to the needs of the business community and for addressing any challenges that tour operators have in Uzbekistan. Mr. Azamov is a graduate of the University of World Economy and Diplomacy with a focus on international economic and international economic relations. He is also a graduate from the University of Surrey, UK, with a degree in international tourism and hospitality management that he completed in 2002. So we know where the expertise is coming from. Although we are the US, we are very friendly to the UK. And the work experience is largely focused on trade and economic relations, where you worked as a consultant for the Uzbek Embassy in Turkey in 2019. You were also Deputy Chairman of the State Committee for Tourism Development from 2019 to 2021. You were also Deputy Director of the Agency for Information and Mass Communications, covering 2021 and 2022. And now you're the first Deputy Minister of Culture and Tourism of the Republic of Uzbekistan. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Azamov, and we welcome you to this stage. And our newest friend, well, for me, but not for Uzbekistan, obviously, is Alexis Delarov, who is a Chief Operating Officer of Accor Group. And Alexis has held this position of Director of Operations since April 2006, overseeing the operations and development of Accor in Russia. And Alexis joined Accor in 2002 as opening general manager of the Novotel Moscow Center and received Crystal Board Award sponsored by Moscow City Government for the achievement of the hotel in 2002 and 2003. And Alexis began his professional career in one of the largest privately owned hotels in Paris, which is certainly a trendsetter, and before joining Queen's Mode Houses, where he held several general managers positions within France and Europe, managing hotels under various international brands. And Alexis first came to Russia through an appointment by the Intercontinental Hotels Group in 1997 to open the first Holiday Inn in Russia. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised when I spoke to Alexis, and indeed, your time spent in Russia really paid off. Your Russian is impeccable, so very impressive. We look forward to hearing your views. I'd like to introduce also Gabriele Bertini, who is the Tashkent City Mall Director for Mall Operation. And Gabriele is Italian, and again, speaks some Russian, as we found out. And in his 26 years of experience, he has been living in 7 countries and 3 continents. In the first years of his career, he dedicated his work in establishing new retail business internationally. In the last 19 years, he has devoted his passion in commercial real estate management and development. And Gabriele has been working for leading international companies, always delivering excellent results. And the secret of success of Gabriele are lying in 2 main factors: people development and customer in front of any decision taken. And you know, given my very short communication with Gabriele, I can just tell that he's very responsive, very easy, and these excellent, superb customer care skills actually show up so much during our conversation. So I appreciate you being on the panel as well. Well, we have also Rauf Khalilov, who is a CEO of ISR Holding, and Rauf has a bachelor degree in international relations from Franklin College, Lugano, Switzerland, and after work experience in Finanzbank, he helped set up his family shipping business IRS and worked at Glencore. In 2007, Rauf Khalilov joined family businesses in Azerbaijan, where he started the automotive division within the holding. In 2010, he set up a logistics company, and today it is integrated into ISR Holding structure with a fleet of its own trucks and representing COSCO and CMA CGM in Azerbaijan. In 2011, in a partnership with Fawaz Al-Hokair, established Retail Group Azerbaijan, which represents more than 35 brands such as Massimo Dutti, Zara, Bershka, Stradivarius, and others with over 600 employees. So it's a great job creator. So we appreciate your effort in ensuring the regional stability and also Azerbaijan's stability, economic stability and prosperity by contributing to the labor force and creating labor force. Rauf actively supports the development of sports in Azerbaijan. He is the president of Azerbaijan Golf Federation, and Uzbekistan actually has golf courts, so I think there is a topic in common that we can discuss. And a board member of Sabah FC. Besides that, Rauf is an advisor, board member of the Israel-Azerbaijan Chamber of Commerce, and co-chair of the Strategic Operations Committee of the Swiss-Azerbaijani Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So again, welcome Rauf to this panel. We look forward to hearing your views and to your experiences of how you do business and your views on Uzbekistan and on global markets. Last but not least, we have Hassan. Hassan Slim is a business unit director of Zara and Sinomi Retail, and he is an experienced retailer with a demonstrated history of working in the fashion industry. And Hassan has skills in market planning, analytical skills, sales, store management, and pricing strategy and market research. And I think you won't find anyone in this audience, in this forum, with the rich experience that Hassan has. So I would highly encourage each one of you to come to Hassan after the presentation and talk, and maybe Hassan, at some point you can open like a school or university where you can just share your excellent experience with our audience. So after this wonderful introduction of our esteemed panelists, I would like to go to the discussion. And what we did is we tried, in preparing for this discussion, we decided to abstain from presentations and from long speeches. I will ask each presenter a question and to allow them to elaborate. And I think that we'll start with Mr. Abidov. Mr. Abidov, I have the first question to you. To what extent, and we'll focus on the retail industry, and to what extent does the decree there is a decree stimulate the growth of consumer demand and lower prices in the domestic sector? So.
Thank you, Elena. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for inviting to this panel session. Indeed, as you described in your panel session description, which was well formulated, today, in any country of the world, I mean, the tourism sector is associated with almost all sectors of economy of any society or any country. That's why they're interlinked in anyhow. And to some estimation, some dozens, sometimes 70 sectors, subsectors of economy are linked to tourism. That's why, based on that, for the last few years, our president, our government is putting a lot of efforts to increase the touristic flow and also to make it more attractive because of our historical background and also architectural historical buildings, and the whole region is a more attractive for the foreign tourists, we decided to focus on also on linking to tourism the retail business, retail trade. And so we also studied the experience of success stories. For example, Dubai. I mean, my colleagues know better than me Dubai, but when Dubai started its work to be as a free economic zone, it started to make such a, I would say, attractive condition when the imported goods become more cheaper than in other countries, even in the European countries. So, and also we studied the, the full favored nation regime in such countries like Turkey, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, which make, again, a good, touristic attraction. Maybe Ulrich, my colleague, will speak more about that for the country. And also, of course, its links to any other and all other economic indicators like job creation and other sort of profitable, elements. And so in this regard, in order to, there is another reason is to attract those world brands to the country in order to make the goods of these international known brands be available for the population in a low price, and also to provide the best quality products in order to provide these products not only for population but also for tourists to come and also to buy and also enjoy the sightseeing and everything, so in one. So this one was one of the ideas, and also the third idea is to, through these favorable conditions, to promote investments. So these international brands are now investing not only in their countries but also worldwide. So we have a good potential, we have a labor force, we have a strategic location in the heart of Central Asia, linking and connecting the South Asia and also the elsewhere in the global picture. So it was decided to create the condition when these brands could enter our market with more attractive conditions. So this decree was adopted in October last year, and then it was supplemented by the Cabinet of Ministers decision establishing the register, which clearly stipulates and also transparently indicates all the procedures in order to be more transparent, also equitable to all the international brands to follow this legal framework in order to come to do the business in Uzbekistan.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for highlighting your role as a regulator of a retail business, and I think it's a really great for all of us and very helpful to hear your vision of how you see tourism in generating more profits and in generating more jobs in Uzbekistan. And again, like whenever people travel, they do see that they do look at the map, right? And Mr. Azamov, I'm coming to you. So they do look at the map and they look at the potential that Uzbekistan can offer. And Uzbekistan is known as a tourist destination, as a pearl of Central Asia. So I think that the first question that I have for you is, can the increase in investment in the tourism sector also affect other sectors of economy, like those, for instance, panelists who are, say, here today with us?
First of all, tourism industry, as Mr. Abidov mentioned, is a strategic sector for Uzbekistan, and especially due to the recent reforms of our president, it has been on the forefront of growing industries. And today in his speech, he specifically mentioned tourism among the most developing sectors. And the recovery last year was obvious. We were 6.7 million tourists in 2019 and 5.2 last year. So we expect to beat that figure this year already. So we were aiming for more than 7 million, but we have a now target that is demanded from us of 10 million foreign visitors. And obviously, we always had this potential. We were blessed with historical heritage and cultural, and our tourism product was cultural and historical tourism. However, it's changing. The tourism itself is changing. We are now focusing more on sustainable tourism, more on community-based tourism, more on developing other regions as well. If we talk about Uzbekistan, it's not only Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, Chakrisabz, which are UNESCO World Heritage cities, but it's Fergana Valley, it's cradle of cultures. It's a place where, you know, silk is made, ceramics is made, and it's related to retail, and I'm sure those handicraftsmen could be a difference in promoting international brands as well, together with local production. When it comes to your question about the other industries being affected, obviously we have seen that tourism has affected definitely the handicraftsmanship. It has affected the gastronomy, all the restaurants. We can see that even being local here, we can see the quality of restaurants, quality of food has increased significantly. We have more outlets, and still we have a lot to do. And when it comes to other sectors, Mr. Abidov mentioned about 70 or 80 sectors, but tourism is a driver of our economy, and it has a long way to go as well. I mean, with the development of aviation, with the development of transportation sector, with improving air connectivity, I'm sure all the related industries, including finance, all the service-related industries would be benefiting, but first and most of all, it will be creating jobs across all sectors of the economy. I believe that would be my short answer to your first question.
I think it's a very comprehensive answer, and it's a very detailed as well. And to the sectors that you just mentioned, I'd like to also add the digitalization and the non-cash payments, right? So
Yes.
it's the contributions to the banking industry and the tourism. We have Boeing 787, one of our members, that flies directly from New York to Tashkent. So it's a non-stop flight and a great advertisement for Uzbekistan as well. So thank you so much. And I'd like to move to Alexis. Alexis, I'm delighted to welcome you to the panel. And again, it's been a professional pleasure to continue our conversation before the panel and now on the panel. We'd like to hear your assessment of the tourism and hospitality that both Mr. Abidov and Mr. Azamov highlighted in light of COVID-19 pandemic. What has changed since the pandemic, and how has the pandemic altered the way you do business? Has the hospitality, in your view, hospitality sector in general, bounced back? Or are you still on your way to recovery? And is the recovery weak or strong? What's your assessment?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Then, first of all, let me just explain that the tourism and the gross tourism industry is one of the biggest industry in the world. You know, the people very often ignore this fact. But this is the fifth biggest industry in the world. You have the media, you have the banking, the automotive, and the pharmaceutical sectors, but this is the fifth biggest. And the most important, and I think it's very important for a country like Uzbekistan, very populated with a high growth of population, this is the number one in terms of manpower in the world. So basically every single job in a hotel brings, well, in the tourism, bring 10 other jobs around this. And this is once again a very key and a very important thing. The second thing I wanted to say is that the tourism industry until February 2020 has been a blessed industry. It's been growing globally by around 6-7%, which is a big growth, keeping in mind what's the average GDP growth in the world. So it's been really something special. People were really getting interested in that, putting money in that. But then came what came, COVID-19, and then it was the most affected industry in the world. We all know that the industry is not made only of big international hotel, but a lot of family-owned, run business, etc., that collapsed, and this was a disaster. And today, I mean, it's a slow recovery, but it's quite a good one. What we see today is that domestic tourism has grown above 2019. So this was the first to recover, and it's growing above 2019. And this is only 3 years after the disaster, which is good, which is excellent news. And once again, it's excellent news for Uzbekistan, who is the most populated country in Central Asia, meaning that Uzbekistan has a way to grow its business. I mean, just let's put in parallel, it's almost the same population as in Poland. And as far as I remember, when I was here for the hotel forum, there's only 954 hotels in Uzbekistan. I mean, I did not count how much there is in Poland and what's the difference in terms of cultural heritage. I did not compare, but it's big here. The potential is enormous, not only for our hotel chains, but also for the private business, family business, guest houses, etc., etc. What is missing yet in terms of recovery is the international tourism. And probably the international tourism, the elephant in the room, is the Chinese tourism, because this one did not recover yet. So it is supposed to recover back to the pre-COVID situation in 2000, probably 24, 25th. It just started. And we see crowd of Chinese tourists coming back. But it will take a little bit of time, because first of all, the number of tourists was big, and you have to rebuild all the routes, the connection, etc. So if we take a little bit by region, globally, and I'm speaking here for Accor, not on a global scale, because I don't have the figures on the global scale, but for Accor, basically our financial indicators for the hotel at the end of 2022 were 15% above 2019, with big differences, big gaps. Europe, more or less plus 5-7% compared to 2019. Middle East is, amazing growth, plus 73% compared to 2019. It was kind of heaven for tourists. These were the first one to vaccinate, I wouldn't say by force, but by very strong pursuit, the people there. And then they open up the first one. So they gain on that. And here, not only they gain in terms of occupancy, but enormously in terms of average room, because all the world was heading to Middle East. America is doing well, but Asia Pacific at the end of 2020 was still lagging behind. So these are the reality. What else? Well, in terms of Accor, we bounced back. 2023 has started very strongly, and we don't see any reason why it should not continue. Domestic tourism remained very strong. International tourism is growing, is coming back to the level of pre-COVID. So all the indicators are on the green. And once again, the Chinese tourism is coming back, so it will even boost the actual result, and we see a very bright future for our operation, not only obviously in Uzbekistan, but everywhere in the world.
Well, thank you so much, Alexis. I like how you emphasize the numbers and the statistics and making an emphasis on countries of Asia, right, which are the drivers of the economic growth globally. And I like your comment that America is doing great. So someone who came from America, I hope America can do better. But I'm delighted to hear about...
We have very few hotels in America, so the ones that we have are doing okay.
Right, yeah. But I'm delighted to hear of the progress in Middle East, and maybe as the next question after Gabriele, we'll ask Rauf and Hassan because Middle East has developed its own kind of like brand when it comes to tourism, and whether it's people shopping for clothing, because during COVID time we were all in our pajamas and sandals and sleepers, so maybe we went to the Middle East for fancier brands, for fancier clothing. and also for something that is a mass product as well. Well, I'll come back to you, but Gabriele, so can you introduce us to your project? And how do you see your contribution into the tourism sector?
Thank you. So again, a big thank you like to have invited me here, and Salam alaikum, Tashkent, and a big thanks like for the welcoming experience that your place it is actually offering to any type of international travelers, because already like with the warmth of your weather, of your people, of the cuisine that you're actually like offering like to everybody, already you are actually offering a very good ground base to develop further like the tourism like sector. But is that like enough as of today? I mean, the tourism sector, it is becoming more and more like sophisticated, and the international competition into it, it is actually like very hard. So I think that we need like to do like and to contribute and to move farther like into the development. In our company, we are seeing like our contribution in finalizing the development of the Tashkent City like destination with our mixed-use the development project, that it is like composed by mainly like 4 different assets. One asset that it is the Class A building business center, then 2 other towers that are related to luxury hotel and luxury like residential. Last but not least, it is the largest shopping center of Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and actually in Middle Asia. We believe that with this offer that we are going to create into Tashkent City, we are going like to offer a new customer experience to the market, that we will enhance the hospitality like in industry and raise like the bar of what the tourism actually needs and expects for the future.
Thank you so much, Gabriele, for highlighting that, and I think I would like to come back to you to some of the comments that you made. But we also have Raouf and Hassan. So I'm going to ask one question, and please take a lead in whoever wants. My first question to you is, what potential do you see in Uzbekistan from your specific perspectives? Yes, Raouf? Mm-hmm.
Sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for hosting us here. It's a great event. We heard Mr. President, His Excellency Shavkat Mirziyoyev talk today. It's very encouraging, and it makes us investor. We want to come and invest in this country because we heard about tax improvement, customs improvement, investor protection. The government institutions are also very helpful. We've experienced this also, and thanks to Deputy Minister of Economy also, and the rest of the government for sure. I've been coming here for past 10 years, and I've seen the improvement, especially for past few years, but since the last government, the president has come into effect, and he's been really changing the things here in this country. The population is here, the culture is great, the history of Uzbekistan is, we can go back centuries, and it's the mentality of people, and it gives a really great potential for this investment, for investors to come in, and because there's a tourism has been always here, and as the Deputy Minister of Tourism said, if I'm not mistaken, 5.6 million tourists. So that's quite an impressive number comparing to other countries in the region. So there's a lot of factors, and we are here, and we have also one of our guests from Inditex from Spain. So not to cover more on this story, but you can understand that we're looking forward to expanding our retail business also. And we've been hosted by Tashkent City Mall also, by our friends, and very kind of them to help us to implement our plans. So looking forward to working in Uzbekistan and expanding.
Sure, thank you so much. And Hassan, the same question, would you like to add and complement what was said?
Well, thank you so much first for hosting us here. A great event with a great vision. And we have a great belief in a great country that in the midterm, we will see a great potential for the country. I will not add too much about what Raouf said, but I've been working as a store manager for Zara in Dubai in 2007. And I used to have plenty of Uzbek customers, and I knew Uzbekistan from there, from those customers. And I used to have a wholesale customer who were buying tons of product, getting back those items to Uzbekistan. So from there, I knew that there is a need in Uzbekistan. So definitely the potential is here. I was looking into some statistics and data 2 years ago before coming to Uzbekistan. I saw the enormous number of population you have, 30 plus million. Tashkent alone is 2.53 million. But those are numbers and demographics. While the real feeling was last year or 2 years ago, once we came to the country, we had a field visit, we passed through Riviera, Campus Mall, and plenty of other locations, and we saw that there is a real need for a real retail in the country. There is a big need for retail in the country because as well you can feel that the Uzbek people, they are people who love to dress and who love to show out, females and males. So from there we realized, yes, it is the country with a great potential. It's on the radar. We are speeding up right now, like Raouf said. So hopefully we're in the right way.
Well, and as a woman, I do hope that we are all on the right way, and I know that Uzbekistan does recognize the role of women not only in the family creation and the family development, but also in the business environment, and especially small, medium-sized enterprises, tourism, textiles, and many others. So we applaud the reforms by the government to incorporate women and other vulnerable groups of population and actually in your particular industries. Thank you so much to talk about Uzbekistan, your uncovery or discovery of Uzbekistan. So hopefully we'll see more people dressed nicely in different brands here in this audience, and maybe next year we'll see some of these brands are present and people wearing some exclusive brands. So I would like to go to Mr. Abidov. So question to you, what is the purpose of the procedure for including the importer in the register in electronic format, and why are these products included in the list?
To make more simple and also more visual, can I just switch on to some slides we prepared together with the joint stock company Uzbek Expertiza, which is operating this system, so we can put just quickly, okay, this register. So as I said, in order to promote the international brands in the Uzbek market, it was decided to create a favorable condition, attractive condition for those international brands. Now we saw some examples from the Sinomi retail, and then some mentioned about the Inditex group and other brands like Zara and Massimo Dutti and others, and H&M. There are about close to 300 brands are now looking at the Uzbek market. So this register provides a good platform for them to come and to make their business. And so in order to provide more transparency and also to avoid and eradicate any bureaucracy, and then some kind of, insinuation about this, system, which is whether working or not working or something behind. But we decided, the government decided to make it more simple, just one-stop shop, service and delivery. So it was system which provides you direct access. So you simply apply for in the website of the joint stock company Uzbek Expertiza, which was mandated by our ministry as a regulating body. So on the website there is a simple access element, and also there's a call center, and also you open your personal cabinet, and then further on you will follow the application elements. Once you finish these application elements, then you will have to wait. There is some time frame in order to be considered and also to be provided information by expert, and also there is some fees as well. I mean, it's such a service, commercial service. And then once this execution is done, then this expert conclusion will be confirmed to the, through the different layers of the procedures, and then it goes to the council of the under the government, which considers this application, and then this council consists of relevant authorities and agencies which are looking after the trade and also the registration and also under the legislation of Uzbekistan, and then you will get the certificate, which will be again in the electronic format, which will be, I mean, very transparent and without any human factor, and then you will get the job done. So why it's electronic? Because of the transparency, because of the, to make more simple, efficient, and also to provide any applicants, just favorable, equitable condition. And why these products? So I will explain in oral. So these products are, there are four group of items. You mentioned already one: clothing, leather goods, leather, clothing, leather, perfumes, and also jewelry. These are the four major group of items which are mostly sold by these international brands, like 300, like H&M or Zara, whatever. So they are looking at this group of items, and then by this decree resolution of the president and also by the cabinet of ministers resolution, this system was created, and these items are now, once you get through this procedural application and got your certificate, and then you have a right to access with reduced import tariff rates, and then you can import your goods with preferential tariff rate to the market of Uzbekistan. So this also goes under the reforms, liberalization of the foreign trade, and also, if you like, it goes in the framework of the accession of Uzbekistan to World Trade Organization, with the main, one of the main factors of accession is to liberalize the trade and also to create condition for the access to the market of goods for those WTO members. So now we are negotiating, as His Excellency President Shavkat Mirziyoyev mentioned, we are in an active phase of negotiations with member states on the market access of goods and services. So, and also want to be a member of this organization as soon as possible. That's why this is another incentive for the foreign countries and foreign companies to see how this market is growing and how this market is accessible. So that's why, I mean, this could be a good, condition for all the interested international brands to come and to do business, and also to provide best quality and with more cheaper prices in the Uzbekistan and also in the region as a whole.
Sure, and again, I cannot re-emphasize and emphasize the government's vision and the government's efforts in streamlining and liberalizing the economy. And thank you so much for providing the visuals of what's happening in the sector, because I think, again, when we talk about retail, when we talk about tourism, we only think or visualize the end product, the hotels, the brands, and the shops, but you just outlined the whole process.
And one more thing, so if I may add, Elena. So by these, resolutions of the present government, we are making as the first time ever in the history of Uzbekistan on the as a probation measure to make to introduce the tax-free system for those shopping retail shops to make the tax return tax-free system in 5 international airports: Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, Fergana, and Urgench. So this is another incentive for the tourists to come and to buy the good, and also to get the advantage of the tax return.
Absolutely, and indirectly create jobs, and I think that's something that we did speak about, the tourism sector, and why are investors attracted to tourism? So maybe you can just expand, for the Deputy Minister.
I would like to mention the role of the tourism in the economy of Uzbekistan, because it is, for us, I can say it's a recent phenomenon. I think we as a nation started to realize the role of tourism in the economy just recently. Just to give you some figures, if exports from tourism services were 1.6 billion last year, this year we are expecting 2.5 billion from tourism services. And the total trade turnover of Uzbekistan was 50 billion, and exports were 20 billion, close to 20 billion. So this year, at least 10% of those exports would be from tourism, if we compare. And just to compare some of the items or sectors, fruits and vegetables were exported last year for 1.1 billion, gas for 911 million, oil and related products $170 million, chemical fertilizers was 410 million, and exports of automobiles just over 350 million. So these are fundamental sectors of the economy where we traditionally think that we have to support them, and still tourism now can be only compared to probably textiles, which is over $3 billion of exports, so, which is another industry which has benefited from the reforms of our new leadership, where cotton has been liberalized, all the cluster system was brought, and we are reaping the fruits. And when it comes to job creation and or contribution to GDP, it's estimated a little over 5%, but we know that the global average is 10%. So, statistics, I mean, the way how you calculate statistics is different. We say that we have only 300,000 tourism-related jobs, but global average would be 10%. And if we take this approach, we have 14 million, close to 14 million jobs. So I would like to think that tourism creates 1.4 million, or it will create 1.4 million in the short term. Yeah. And another thing you asked about why investors, and Alexis quite rightly mentioned about the number of hotels. We only have close to 1,000 hotels. And I'm sure Mr. Delarov can confirm that for an international brand, it is really difficult to find a hotel for management because of the small number, because of the quality. And we only have 30,000 rooms. For a country that is aiming for 10 million tourists, we are really, really short of hotels. So that's something to look first and foremost for an international investor. We are short of hotels, and we are short of hotels during the peak season, and we have to work more on creating conditions, on improving conditions for investors to build more hotels. And that would be my message, first of all, to foreign investors. So, and it will be successful. I'm sure Mr. Delarov can confirm about the occupancy rates. So they are surging in Tashkent as well. And we are glad that international brands are not only in Tashkent, they are already present in Samarkand, Bukhara. Accor itself is present in Samarkand and Bukhara. We are having Hiltons, Hayats, all of them are expanding to our cities. And it is a good trend. It shows that the industry is developing. It shows that the international community, international investors are believing in Uzbekistan, not only in Uzbekistan, but particularly tourism potential of Uzbekistan.
Yeah, and thank you so much, First Deputy Minister, for highlighting tourism as a real revenue, as a real profitable sector, because whenever we think about investments, we always think about manufacturing industry, right? Or something like a heavy industry, like aviation or railroads or automobile. But then you're talking about textile and you're talking about tourism sector that are in their own league, but have so much potential. And again, creating so many indirect jobs and generating so much of income. And talking about investments, I would like to address, first of all, this is Tashkent International Investment Forum, so I'm addressing to investors who are here in this room and to potential investors. I just want you to listen very attentively to the message of the First Deputy Minister about the need for more hotels, the need for more collaboration with the ministry on building hotels of different kind, right? Budget hotels, luxury hotels that are catered to different population and different consumer base. So I'd like to come to experienced investor in this particular sector. Alexis, as Accor, what are your views on Central Asia, and where does the region stand on your global business map? What makes the region so attractive to Accor, and what challenges would you like to address in partnership with the government of Uzbekistan, because this is a unique panel where you have the private sector as well as the regulators. So I think it's a great opportunity to hear each other.
Thank you. Listen, if I heard the right figures, last year 5.2 million tourists, right? Let's put this into perspective. I will give you figures before COVID, obviously. But the year before COVID, Georgia had 8 million visitors. The city of St. Petersburg had 7 million visitors. What do I mean by that? Is that, the potential here in this country is just enormous. You could double, triple the figures. It would not be surprising. It would be normal, given the history, given the potential, given everything you have to offer. But yes, there are indeed bottlenecks. With 950 or 1,000 hotels, you do not bring in the country 10 million tourists. So what our experience on that? Well, first of all, if I'm here, obviously, we're very eager at developing further into this country. I think we have all the benefits. And last week, basically last week, Sunday, 10 days ago, the CEO of Europe made his first trip out of Paris to Tashkent. And you know what? He was just surprised. He never ever was expecting something like that. In his head, maybe I should not say, but in his head, this was another Maghreb. And then he arrives here, everything is clean. People are polite, educated. I wouldn't say that it's not the case in Maghreb, but yes. And suddenly he understands that the vision that they have from somewhere else is completely wrong, that the potential is big, that you can develop further, etc. Another thing, we international operators, we're not investors. We're providing services, we're providing brand, we're providing management, we're providing expertise, but we're not investors. And what we see, our experience in this part of the world, but in most of the world, is that the investors, especially in real estate, are not international. They are local guys. And why would local guys invest in real estate that is most of the time for hotel industry on average in the world giving back the money in 12 to 15 years for no reason? They would not do it. They would do retail, residential, etc. So what I want to say, not especially to you, I think you perfectly know everything, but what are in order to build hotels which are infrastructure projects, yes, no hotels, no tourism. You need to make the investment into the hospitality business attractive. You need to ensure that the borrowings, when you build a hotel, are at a normal level. If they are at 12, 15, 17% in local currency, I'm saying, when it's just you cannot do it. Nobody will do it. So people will take a loan in dollars. And then the money is being devalued. So there's a lot of risk on that. So there's something, probably it should be subsidized or guaranteed or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a financial guy, but this is my outcome. The second thing that is very much helping during the operation, not only during construction, because you need to put the hotel on the market, is to review the VAT level. We've seen this morning, the president announced that there's a decrease on VAT level for extracting industries. These are machine working, one person on the site and one machine working. We're providing job for the people, and by bringing down the VAT, you make the hotel you put more manpower in the hotels. And the second thing, you improve the return on investment. These are really critical things for local investors. These are things that needs to be done. And maybe a last thing that I want to mention in order to bring in all these 10 to 20, I don't know, sky is the limit in terms of number of customers, visitors. There are also other bottlenecks. You know, first time I came to Uzbekistan was 2003. And this, in May next year, next month, I'm bringing my family here for 1 week. And you know what? If I didn't have a friend here who would be able to purchase the train ticket on Afrosib, etc., I wouldn't be able to do it. So I mean, these are bottlenecks. Few international flights, no open sky yet. I heard the president saying that it's coming. But you know, let's not do it. It's coming. Let's do tomorrow. It came. You know, it happened. Because this is key. If you don't have the infrastructure to bring in the passengers, to bring in the people from Samarkand to Bukhara, or from Tashkent to Urgench, then these are the limitations. Then you just cannot handle it. So these are critical, very important things in order to ensure that the hospitality business, that is key to the tourism, will be able to absorb all this growing number of tourists.
Sure. Would you like to add anything, or to respond?
No, I think it's a perfectly valid point. We are, even with your experience, we know that bottleneck of Afrosib, but we have to say that it's because of its popularity, and it pushes us to build more, actually, to improve the infrastructure. And the second point I would like to mention regarding the subsidy system, actually we were successful in subsidizing the construction of 3-4-star hotels, where state subsidized part of the construction for 4,000 per room for 3-star hotel, and then we had close to $6,000 per 4-star hotel, which had a great effect. And it actually, we could double the number of hotels being built. And it's absolutely correct that local investors are building hotels. And regarding the air connectivity, which we, within the industry, always raise the issue, and the reforms, today it was again mentioned in his speech of His Excellency, Mr. President, regarding the liberalization and privatization of transportation sector, new airlines, already 5 new private airlines are opening, functioning. They are already flying not only international routes, but local routes, which again, for instance, we worked with Silkavi, a new airline, to improve the connectivity between Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, and Urgench. Sure. It was so these are all happening, and we obviously have to do more if we want to reach 10 million. And I think one of the main areas of our work of the ministry and the government is to create those conditions for the private sector then to build hotels and to run the businesses.
Sure, and I think that you mentioned, both of you mentioned about the railways as a bottleneck. I see it as an opportunity. We just need to add more, probably buy more trains and add them so that there is a high capacity.
Yeah, and it was announced today that the rail system would be reformed as well.
Correct, yes. Yeah, Alexis, you wanted to add something?
I just wanted to say that I do not criticize. I understand that Rome has not been built in one day. I see the progress, but you know, you always want more. You give, I take. You give, I take.
You know, you just summed up what I was about to say, that we need to create, again, the beauty of this panel is that there is a diversity of views and diversity of players. And it's helpful sometimes for the investors to put yourself in the shoes of the government, and for the government to put themselves in the shoes of the investor, because our demand list can be high. I mean, it can be long, right? We have a list of so many things that we expect from the government, or so many things that we expect from the investors. But once we change the roles, put ourselves in a position, in the shoes of each other, maybe we will come to this win-win situation. And that's the beauty of this panel, this discussion. And I'd like to move on to Gabriele, because Gabriela, when you made your first comment about the description of your project and how you see your contribution into the tourism sector, you summed up very beautifully, and you said that we will raise the bar of the hospitality industry by offering exceptional experiences for our guests. So how would you deliver such an exceptional customer experience?
Thank you for the question. Well, you were, before when you were talking, answering like with our partners like from Inditex, from Zara, you were saying that you're looking forward in the next year like to see like new people like with a new style, like new clothes, like and so on. Our plan it is to deliver our meeting place, that's kind of like a city mall, with a very large tenant mix of fashion brands, new for the market, plus 50% according to our target, it will be with brands, European brands and American brands. And that one, to be sure, it will contribute to improve the lifestyle of the locals. Is that enough for to creating exceptional customer experience? We think that we should as well work more with the emotional part. And so we are adding the first IMAX of the country. We are adding a fantastic new amusement park like for kids, for up to teenagers. A unique concept of gym with the best swimming pool, with the best view of the town, overlooking like the Tashkent like a city park. But again, working with emotions, maybe we should do a little bit more. Emotions, it means like to work with all the different senses of the individuals. And one of them, it is obvious like the taste. In our mall, you will have 50% of the dedicated like a GLA, like to F&B like offer, with the classical like fast food, with cafes and restaurants, with all like with terraces like overlooking like the Tashkent like a city park, and a characteristic like gastro food hall that will like reconnect architectonically like to the heritage like of the country, and will help as well like to attract the curiosity of a lot of like of tourists that will want like to see like something special. Obviously, all of that will be spiced up like from your fantastic taste like of the food like and so on. So we think that giving like this offer, it is like a good like a ground basis like to create this customer like experience. But we will want as well like to spice it up with a variety like of services that it will be like new like for the country, and that we will slowly like implement it like with the time in the way like to phase it down and to offer always something new like to our visitors and to the tourists that will come like visit us. This is the general like idea and strategy that we have actually.
Thank you so much, and I really like how you kind of like expanded your comments to different sides, right, different visions, and one of them is being like emotional, like how do we look at things, do we look at them logically, emotionally, from the business point of view? And on this particular issue on emotions, I'd like to ask a question to Rauf and to Hassan about the challenges that you see in Uzbekistan. Are these challenges cultural, emotional, historic, business, or any other, take any angle that you would like to? Thank you.
Okay, so I was telling you about the potential. We found the potential, and one of the major first challenge was secure location, store. Because there is a criteria for Inditex group that we cannot be in any mall. We cannot be in a small mall. The customer experience and the emotions which Gabriel spoke about right now is very important for Inditex group. It means we should have, or we should present in a proper shopping mall, a nice shopping mall, which have a great experience. And for Zara, we should secure a good big box of minimum of 3,000 square meter or 4,000 square meter day limit. Why 4,000? Because we are including plenty of experiences like Zara Beauty, Zara Sports for Men. We have recently as well Zara Lingerie. In the kids section, we have a special area for kids.
We have areas for self-checkout. So in the beginning, it was a big challenge. And thanking here as well, Tashkent City Mall and Mr. Delor, he was a great facilitator where we have 3,400 square meters for Zara, plus 400 square meters for the stockroom. On top of that, we have 8,000 square meters for Bershka, Pull&Bear, Stradivarius, Oysho, and Massimo Dutti. So in total, we are talking about 10,000 plus square meters. So yes, it was a big challenge, to be honest with you, in the beginning, but we resolved it. The second challenge, it was about supply chain. Zara is well known in its speed. We should supply product for beautiful women twice per week. And the experience they should have in each country has to be the same. Example, you should not be in Dubai, found your new arrivals in Dubai, and then in Uzbekistan you'll have something like 1 month arrived in Dubai. No, it has to be exactly the same experience. And that was one of the very strict conditions of Zara. In the beginning, it was tough. There was plenty of hygienic certificates, and Mr. Abidov, he knows about it. We took the flight, we went to Spain. Thanks for him and for the people behind for giving us the full support, giving us the things that we really need to operate in the business, where we finally feel comfortable with our partners. Yes, Zara is comfortable today. We are in the very fast and last stages of designing the beautiful stores, and we are hopefully running to arrive to the country by September.
Well, I like how you emphasize capacity building, the education, right, in order to provide the experience, but also the importance of the global supply chain, especially in fashion, which changes so fast. So you really need to have access to the customers, but also access to the suppliers, and to be able to keep up with time. So beautiful, excellent comments. Thank you. And Raouf, please.
Sure, there are a lot of challenges everywhere in the world, but you know, when you have the government members like deputies helping us, flying to Spain and sorting out things, I mean, the challenges become no challenges anymore. So also I'd like to tell you one more thing. Mr. Delor, before, he mentioned something very nice. As a local investor, he said, look, we want more competition here. We want more bigger stores. We cannot do it ourselves. So this is great, something that somebody wants more competition, which is great for the economy of a country. That's great to hear, really.
Yeah, you know, and yes, of course, please.
Well, thank you. I would like to add one point on the, well, we spoke a lot about the infrastructure, for example, on the railway and then, you know, aviation. Retail business also needs infrastructure. I mean, do you remember 6-7 years ago, one can barely find, you know, shopping mall in Tashkent, in the capital. Now there are appearing some more malls in Tashkent, in Samarkand. So this mechanism, this system, what we are creating through the incentives, attractive conditions for the international brands to come, will also promote the infrastructure development in the major cities of Uzbekistan and also touristic centers. So there is another incentive. There is another, I would like to announce a good, you know, attractive point is now there is a presidential decision was in effect since 2022, which simplifies rental administration, the cost of lease payments for large shopping centers, for shopping malls. Now it is now in a good attractive condition. Now, from now on, you can pay your rental payment with a link to foreign currency, to US dollar, for example. So it was not the case before. So again, this will also create, you know, simplify the rental administration, and also will promote the big shopping centers to be created, to be established, to be built, and also which has another you know, economic effect. I mean, creating jobs and also those, you know, sectors and subsectors to be added and also to grow. And that's why it is quite important to develop the infrastructure development in the retail business as well. So we hope that by coming these new international brands, so now Mr. Slim mentioned about this experience of Zara. And also, as I mentioned, about several hundreds of, you know, international brands are looking at this market. And he also mentioned about the simplification of the certification. Yes, indeed, we create the condition to simplify the certification of those international brands to enter the market as as quick as possible, and also to make the population have more access to the good brand products in Uzbek market. And as Mr. Alexis Delarov mentioned, so yes, some things are coming, but I think in the retail business, something already came. So we hope that in a couple of months, there will be more news about the appearance of the new brands, and also to be available for Uzbek population, also for the foreign tourists to come and to buy these goods in a more preferential and also more cheaper price in the Uzbek market. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. And you just gave me an opening to another question that I would like to ask you, and which is about the brands, right? And the inclusion of those brands in the registry in order to be protected from counterfeit and also from parallel imports. So maybe if you can expand to that, because as a manufacturer, I would like to protect my goods or services, right?
Yes. Thank you. Good question. Yes, it's another element of this new system. What we are creating is not only to attract the international brands, but also to diminish and to decrease. Well, you never destroy negative things in this world. I mean, in one day or in one night. But this system will now provide to prevent the entry into the market of Uzbekistan, the counterfeit goods, and also will make the competitiveness more in favor of the certified goods, because there is incentive. I mean, you can bring your good, your clothing, your footwear, your jewelry, your cosmetics with a more low tariff, with transparent registration, with simplified certification, and then it will promote the legal business to grow. So this counterfeit will be, if not disappeared, at least in the minimum level. For that, besides these attractive incentives, we also have a law which provides prohibition of, so on the part of the trademarks, services mark, and also the countries' manufacturing of origin. So which will be very effective. So in combination with this new system, I think we'll be able to control, to prevent the counterfeit products to enter our market. Thank you.
Well, that's very good to know again.
And last point, sorry, it's
Sure.
again on the intellectual property, because it's
Yeah.
also again linked to prevent the counterfeit.
There are lawyers in the room, and they will confirm that Uzbekistan is a member of many IPR conventions and legal instruments that help protect companies. And I think before I decide to do business with Uzbekistan, whether I'm an investor or just an exporter of goods or services, I want to make sure that there are legal protections that will provide comfort to me in doing business with Uzbekistan in a modern and civilized manner. So thank you so much. And Mr. Azamov, we did speak about the challenges, and we did speak about the opportunities and the great collaboration, the dialogue that companies have. And I think that the beauty, again, of working with your ministry is that you're always eager to listen, to learn, and hear the suggestions from companies. So what has been done to develop tourism infrastructure in Uzbekistan? How much of this was your initiative or something that was prompted by companies, maybe?
Tourism sector in any country in the world normally is dominated by the private sector. So in Uzbekistan especially, hotels are private, tour operators are private, and everything that has been owned by the government, if there are one or two hotels that are legacy are not working, they're also under privatization. So what we have left for the government, it would be infrastructure, it's airports, it's airlines, it's railways. So state has been doing all its work in this regard. We have seen the liberalization of aviation, which has resulted, as I mentioned, which has resulted in Samarkand International Airport, which is the first PPP. Today, again, we heard that Urgench, Bukhara, Namangan, and Andijan airports would be under PPP offered to foreign investors and local investors.
And the railway, again, we talked about it. It's an idea that we need new railways. We probably need foreign operators as well, which is being talked. And as you rightly mentioned, private sector, especially tour operators, who are dealing day to day with tourists and know the bottlenecks, know the opportunities. We are listening to them, and especially you heard today, His Excellency Mr. President, that particular attention and all the importance is given to feedback from the private sector. So what has been done, I already mentioned too. So Samarkand Tourism Center, of course, it's a private investment, but still with the support of the government, the funding of it, the international credit line and all the other tools have been provided for the local investor. Again, the airport, the first PPP is private, and every year we have an investment program, and it has tourism specifically started receiving financing. So we have every year program where a state allocates a budget on improving tourism infrastructure. So it passes under a special, let's say, term. Yes, a special budgetary term. And from this year, we are having, for instance, a special program for tourism mahallas. We call tourism communities. We have 31 regions where 143 communities or mahallas are designated as tourism drivers. So state has allocated $20 million for the roads, for the services. So this is a constant yearly program which is required to improve the potential, improve the services, and ease the bottlenecks. So it is our job, together with Mr. Abidov's ministry as well, to come up with those programs to identify the bottlenecks, to identify the regions with the most potential, and to identify the regions that are in need of financing in the first place, so that they have the better potential. And it's a yearly program, and in the effect and the use of it is increasing year by year.
Well, thank you so much for highlighting the role that the government has taken in being a locomotive, right, in introducing so many changes. And as a business group that has a day-to-day communications with the President's office, with each one of your ministry, and with so many other ministries, I can tell you that the President has very acute understanding of what's happening in the country. He understands the reforms, and I think his speech beautifully reflected everything that is needed in response to the community's request. So again, many thanks for you to do that. And we discussed also the bottlenecks. I always say that, you know, only dead business has no issues. In any business, there are issues, and we call them questions. Questions either have answers or they don't have answers right now, so which means that we need to take time to understand and provide a better answer. But the role of the government is not only in being the locomotive, but also in being a protector, right, of not only of the demographics that are young and that are literate, savvy, very technical and very savvy, but also of the vulnerable groups. And sometimes I think this is where we see government taking a very considerate effort in understanding how these reforms and privatization efforts may affect the vulnerable groups of population. And so again, thank you for taking care of the young and the old and those who are in the middle, right, and making sure that they stay afloat, have a very good, strong, solid economic foundation to prosper. Alexis, I'm moving back to you again. So would you please share your specific plans for Uzbekistan? Now we're kind of like coming to the nitty-gritty, right? Perhaps 3 or 4 projects that you have been working on with the government of Uzbekistan, if you don't mind maybe sharing and outlining.
Yes. For the time being, I mean, we opened our first hotel, I think it was in December last year, which was the Mercury in Tashkent. The week after, before the end of December, we opened a Mercury in Bukhara. By the way, in a UNESCO protected area. And the funny story is that when the UNESCO heard that Accor is opening a hotel in a protected area, they immediately came to the hotel and they told, we will shut you, we will close the hotel. And thanks God, because they thought we did something, you know, like glass and steel within a protected area. And actually the architect and the designer was the one that was restoring the old Bukhara. So the hotel is perfectly fit where it was. We have the Mövenpick in Samarkand. I mean, we have plenty of projects actually. I mean, we really believe in this place. We have a hotel under construction, a Swiss hotel in Tashkent again. We have a Swiss hotel under construction on Charvak Lake. We're looking at Amirsaroy. They're very interesting also. A piece of business that we start looking at is all these old pensionati from the Soviet Union that most of the time very well located but require investment. So we're working with some investors to see what we can do on that. We also looking now very actively into the Fergana Valley. I mean, this is very much a business-oriented place, but together with a lot of leisure potential. No, we're very eager. We're very willing, and today we have around 7 or 8 contracts signed, from a very top luxury hotel in Tashkent to a 3-star hotel in Tashkent in the region. So I mean, once again, I said with 34 million people in the country, with the opening of the country to the foreign tourism or further, I mean, we can build easily 20, 30, 40 hotels within the next couple of 5 years. We will swallow the business easy. And this is a call to the investors, by the way.
And this is very good to know. And Alexis, I'd like to ask you one more question, which is, can you just review maybe your flagship project with Uzbekistan?
Yeah, listen, I think with our partners, hyper partners, we're creating something completely new. I mean, when we were approached to discuss a hotel, we discussed a 5-star hotel, etc. But then when with our partner, we really made a more thorough research. What is really missing in Tashkent, and what is really missing, and even today, is a real luxury hotel. Because I mean, there are different 5-star hotels. I mean, in our portfolio, Mövenpick is a 5-star hotel, but Raffles is a 5-star hotel. So you know, it's like going from 5 to 7 stars basically. So what we choose, I cannot tell the name yet because there are 2 commas and 1 article that is missing a point, a dot, that is not yet completely finished. But it's we're almost there. And this will be a real 275 rooms, luxury hotel. And you know, we created together with the gentleman, with our partner, I think we're creating, you know, a city resort. A destination, you know, a destination within the city. A place where people will come, local people will come and enjoy, not only the retail, but also having a little bit of relaxation from the crazy city life. We're creating a destination for our Middle East customers that are avid of finding new destination. And to tell you the truth, I mean, being a Muslim country, or mainly Muslim country, also non-clerical, it's really helping to bring this kind of customers in this region. There's a lot of demand in that. But we create, once again, a destination and a city resort, 275 rooms, integrated fully with residences, with the office, with a unique place. I mean, 245,000 square meter built. I mean, there's not much of these in this part of the world. I think it's a kind of record. And then, most important, bringing in luxury brand. Because if you bring a luxury hotel, you bring then luxury brand, then you bring luxury customers that will not spend $200 a day, but $1,000 a year. So I think this is a unique place. This is the only, for us, the only luxury hotel, really luxury hotel that we're developing together with our partner in this in Central Asia, and we believe that it will be a very point of attraction, unique, completely different from whatever we've seen up to now.
Sure, and again, thank you for sharing.
And by the way, bringing around 500 working place to the hotel.
Well, I think
which
that's
is important.
music to the ears of Mr. Azamov and Mr. Abidev, and so I'm sure your ministries will work directly with Alexis on ensuring that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dots before making any announcement or before making a deliberate further move. So thank you for sharing this. These plans, Alexis. Gabriele, so can you tell us more about your plans related to hospitality? And maybe if you can just allude to the challenges that you face and or faced before, or maybe still facing in establishment of this project. Microphone, Gabriele. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, my team is composed by best-in-class international players with a fantastic experience to run such type of objects internationally. But we are not the one that are facing the customers like every day, actually. And we will have hundreds of people working like for us in delivering all the products that I mentioned like to you like earlier, because we will talk about like not only like to face the customers with the tenants, but as well like with a lot of services. And as well, speaking about like services in very poor words, we are talking about as well simple cleaning, simple safety like a personnel. This one are many people that will actually work like for us, and that will need like to trigger the emotions that we were actually talking about like before. To create these destinations that Alexis, you were actually mentioning like before. In my plan, together with my management team, it is as of now we are developing a guest service / hospitality strategy and approach that will include a training of 100% of our personnel, of all our like subcontractors, that will put down the minimum demands in how to treat our customers to meet the exceptional customer experience that we want like to deliver like to the place. This will create a challenge according to my experience, because I already done this in some like emerging market, because we will like become a training spot for a lot like of personnel. This personnel will start like to be very attractive like to go and work for other competitors, for other like meeting places that naturally are actually like growing like into the customers. So it's like it is like our task as well like to create the best-in-class place like where to work for, and the best place like where the tenants want as well like to stay like together like with us. So in plan as well, it is not only to develop strategies and training, but as well like to follow up like what actually like we are doing with the tenant satisfaction index, with customer satisfaction index, with worker satisfaction index that will tell us where are we and what it is left like to be done, and will drive us like for the next like steps. Everything we will like deliver step by step with a rollout that we have actually like in plans, but we are sure that we are going like to contribute to the development not only of our mall, but in general of the customer service and of the tourism like sector of Tashkent and of Uzbekistan.
Sure, and I think that one issue that you brought up, which is very well suited for this discussion, is the competition and how you can bring. And I think as a business, as a global business, companies are not shy of competition. Companies recognize that competition is a driving force and that eventually benefits the government and the consumers, as long as competition is open and transparent. As long as we know who we're competing against, I think that makes it a fair competition. When it's a little bit opaque, then it's difficult for us to offer the best, compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, I think, right? So I'd like to move to Rauf and Hassan, and if you can just maybe provide your viewpoint on the future of retail sector in Uzbekistan. And I'm going to add maybe another question, which is what role do the shopping centers play in the retail industry? Any one of you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, shopping malls are a very important factor, actually. You know, they're center of entertainment, cinemas, food and beverage. So shopping mall is a driver for retail. Of course, there are great anchor brands like Inditex, which attract also clients. So that's one part of the shopping mall. But there's a flagship stores could be also be outside street locations. I'm sure Tashkent offers a lot of street locations which will be used in future, slowly. And also today's speech, if anybody heard the speech of chairman of Aqua from Saudi Arabia, he was so enthusiastic about investing in Uzbekistan. He said the government of Saudi Arabia and the private business from Saudi Arabia, they're not convinced, they're confirmed that they're going to invest billions. So as an investor, it makes us feel comfortable that there's influx of big money coming in, and we're going to be basically enjoying the economy here.
Sure. Thank you. Hassan?
Yes. So hearing today the president speaking and his vision was extremely helpful for us to know and to feel the great story of this country, because I do believe that there is a very big story which will be written for this great country, having this great vision and having people who are executors as well, and they are executing in a fast way with actions. So we are extremely happy, we are extremely positive. We have a nice shopping mall, a nice shopping center, a great shopping center actually, with a great experience. And Gabriel, he explained about all the kind of experiences, like we were in the morning touring the shopping mall, and to be honest, I was impressed. It was in a very high level reaching the malls of Dubai. So mixing fine dining with the great food court area, great views. So it was greatly designed and greatly executed as well, because you could have great design, but the execution could be like something so-so. No. We saw a great design and a great execution, and we do believe that the experience for the customers in that shopping center would be great. Back to your question about the future, we are happy to be part of this great story. Our story will begin with Tashkent City Mall, and hopefully it will not finish here. With the great figures of Tashkent City Mall, with the great achievements of Tashkent City Mall, definitely we will grow and will continue exploring different opportunities in different regions of the market, knowing that we are not only limited to Tashkent, because usually we have online and brick and mortars. So with the online business we have, we are serving all the country as well.
Well, you know, I know that, yes, Ms. Abida, please.
Yes, just to, I would like to make a final comments on those elements of retail trade. I mean, based on the deliberations and discussions, and also the information provided by our panelists today, I mean, I can say that definitely there's no doubt that the retail business will be growing rapidly in Uzbekistan in the coming years. And well, this will also create condition to stimulate the revision of the business models, and also bringing new investments, and also to implement the industrial development projects, and also creation jobs. And most importantly, this system what we are creating with these incentives, with this, these attractive conditions, will make attractiveness of Uzbek market more higher, and also it will promote in bringing the innovative technology, which is quite important. Also, this will help us to make a green development and also green agenda high on the priority. And for that, as today His Excellency President said, that state will guarantee that, and we will work on the efficient implementation of all those legal acts, and also the provisions of the legislation, which will be most and foremost in our high agenda as a priority.
Sure, this is great to hear. And I also would like to go back to Hassan's comment about the story. And I think we just saw the story being developed here, where we have this tourism, retail, and then the operators, and also the retail, and different investors, and the customer care kind of like actors. I think that we see the story developing now. And globally, the world likes happy end. but I don't want to put an end. I think the story should develop. And while we're approaching our time for the next panel to move in, I would like to take the opportunity, and for which one of you, just to say maybe a few words, you as a government and you as a private sector, what would be your message to each other? Like maybe just to summing it up, what would be your message to the investors and maybe potential investors? Because today's companies may not be ready, but they might be ready tomorrow or day after tomorrow. What would be your message to the community?
In few words, I can say that the state, the government is ready to support any kind of business activity based on our priority areas and priority sectors of economy, which is now becoming more attractive. And the government is ready to support any business initiatives and any innovative projects to be implemented in Uzbekistan. And also, this important point is, well, we witnessed how difficult was the COVID area and also post-COVID area. Now we need more visibility. So we need more success stories. I mean, once these big brands come into Uzbek market, and then there will be another second or third wave of, coming in for new businesses. So for that, government, state authorities are ready to work together with private business and also to build on the confidence. And also, I want to make sure that the government is ready to work with all the interested business partners for the sake of this, implementation of the projects in Uzbekistan, in our market.
As chairman of the Islamic Development Bank said, predictability. He actually mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
So thank you for creating this predictability for companies.
Thank you.
Mr. Azamov.
Well, I will touch about the need for international retail brands to come to Uzbekistan. So average figure for tourist spending in Uzbekistan is about $300. That's because we have both same-day visitors from neighboring countries, and we have tourists coming from Europe, USA, and Far East. So the difference is, so let's say European and American tourists spends over 1,000, which is a fact. And these are I like the way Hassan mentioned, real feeling. Yeah, so these would be the drivers for the retail business. And especially, Mr. Delarov also mentioned about Middle East and China, China being the highest spenders, $1,500 per visit, and Middle Eastern countries, which we are also focusing on increasing the number of tourists from those countries with new airlines coming in. So during the last 2 years, we already have Air Arabia, Fly Dubai, Fly Nas, Jazeera Airways, Oman is actively looking into opening air. So we have a huge market that is looking for a new destination in terms of shopping tourism. And we know good cases of Istanbul, sometimes even Baku now, as being good destinations for shopping. And for this to happen, we need international retail brands, and we fully support. And we understand the importance of it. Understand that this would be another angle for diversification of Uzbekistan's tourism product.
Sure, and I like how you work in parallel and recognizing each other's strength, right?
Of
to complement and to generate more profits. And I would like to acknowledge Visa, they just left, but we have Irina, but from a different company, but Christina was there. Cash has limitations, but credit card doesn't.
Yes,
right? So
yes.
that's, I think, when we want to spend more money, as women, we like to use credit card and then have our husbands to pay the bills. Well, Alexis, how about you? What's your message?
This is a very sexist comment. Huh?
Yes, and by no means I wanted to discriminate.
You have a great husband.
The purchasing power of women, yes.
Well, a very short comment. I mean, to the authorities, to the investors, to everybody here. I mean, we have a momentum. Let's not lose it. Let's just use it because it's strong, and if we catch this momentum, then we all win. And this country, which we deserve to win, will win and will make it a nice place on the earth.
Sure, and I like about the winners, so everybody at this table, on this stage, and including those who are in the audience, really should be the winners. Thank you. And Gabriele, please.
Yes, reconnecting to what many of the speakers actually mentioned in different parts of their talk. In many cases, the pre-visit to Tashkent and Uzbekistan was actually faced with a pre-perceptions pretty negative that it is not reflected once that you visit and experience the pace of development. Actually, that it is one of the main challenges that the developers such as ours is actually faced to develop and kick off such meeting places, because we had to be ambassador of the country to convince the different investor of the real possibilities, to bring them here, to show the market, to show macro and micro informations. So for me, I can only say, keep on in this fast-moving implementations of the development plans that they already been kicked off. Work a lot in the communication, in the way to change this perception. Well done so far. Keep on doing it, and let's move it.
I like, Gabriele, how you said that we are the ambassadors. And I think the business community is definitely the global business ambassadors for Uzbekistan. And through our successes, we can promote the Uzbek market as a destination. And I think we have more credibility among the business community because people judge by the results. Businesses judge by the results and by the return on investment. So I think our story will be, the story coming back to you, will be more convening, right, when we are successful. And so, yes, Raul, please.
So my only message to the government that continue helping us and solving our problems. So that's very kind of you. And hopefully our story will be a success story. So one of the first ones, and we'll be following with other success stories. So I wish all the best to Uzbek people and the government. So, and hopefully as an investor, we'll continue investing and enjoying the business here. So thank you very much once again for this hosting us and this beautiful event. Thank you.
Sure, and thank you so much, Rauf, and for your candor and sincerity in sharing your message to the government. Hassan, please.
First, thanks for hosting us. It was really a great pleasure. I told you I came 1.5 years back to Uzbekistan, and now it's my second time. And I think now going forward, it will be much more repetitive, just to understand the market, to understand the customers, the customer needs, etc. So I'm very positive, extremely positive. Right now, we are in the last stages. We are waiting the mall to complete, like having the right tenants, restaurants, start opening up. And as well, I want to highlight something. It's not only a brand which is coming with the nice clothes. It's a school of retail. Zara is the school of retail. I started with Zara as a floor manager, as sales assistant. So it's a school. Zara, and once you start in the development stage of Zara, developing developing your skills, it will take you way forward. So I think it's transformation for the retail industry of the country, having Zara in the country. Second thing, it will help as well the employment rate of the country, creating more jobs, not only Zara and the whole portfolio of Inditex. On top of that, we have as well Aldo Group, which is coming from Sinomi as well. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Abidov, one more time. Thanks for your help. Thanks for all the government. And wishing all the best for Uzbekistan.
Sure, and thank you again for emphasizing the capacity so that the executives, senior executives, they're not born. They actually grow. They have the different development stages. And I would encourage those who are still early in your professional career to take this message very deeply and to be eager to learn, to start from the beginning and then to grow. And fortunately, we have so much expertise in this room. And unfortunately, we don't have any time for more questions from the audience. But I think that speakers, given their tight schedule, may have some time availability maybe to respond to your questions. But I would like you to, again, to join me in applauding our beautiful panel and the speakers for their time today, but also for the time that they have spent on Uzbekistan in working with the investment community. And I do hope this is not the first and the last time, but that we'll be here again and again and again. This is a story that is yet to develop and that continues to develop, and we really don't want to put a happy end to that. We want a happy continuation of the story, so thank you.